Good morning, and this is a day filled with sun and fun. As a matter of fact, we are at Sun and Fun, the 45th International Sun and Fun Fly-In and Expo at Lakeland, Florida. My name is Ron Timmermans. I'm one of the many hosts with the Florida Aviation Network, and we're so glad you joined us today with the Florida Aviation Network broadcast. We've had a fabulous week so far, interviewed many guests and learned a lot about their background and their contributions to aviation. And yet we have another one that is going to tell us today about his contribution to aviation, Mr. Steve Cochran, who is the Senior Director for Workforce Education in the Polk County School District. Steve, welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Very good, very good. So I'm sure you're a busy man, and so I thank you for taking time out of your day to come speak with us today and tell us a little bit about your position with the school district and your background. So if you would, please enlighten us.
I'm the Senior Director for Workforce Education for the Polk County Public School Board. And my responsibilities include developing vocational programs in Polk County schools and also maintaining the ones that we currently have.
Very good. So your offices, you told me, are in Bartow, near city near Lakeland here.
That's right.
And so the entire county is in one school district. Is that correct?
That is correct. We are I believe, the 7th largest school district in Florida.
Wow. How many students would that entail?
Over 100,000.
Over 100,000 students just in Polk County.
Yeah.
And how many facilities is that in the school district, schools?
Well, I don't have a full count of every school we have, but we have 15 high schools and almost 50 middle schools.
Wow.
And probably well over 100 elementary schools.
Oh, so my goodness.
It's a lot of schools.
Yeah, and 100,000 students depending on you. So your involvement in workforce development primarily with secondary education students or even younger than that?
Well, workforce really entails the entire school system from K to 12. But our focus, aside from developing interest in vocation at the elementary level, our focus is on pre-vocational learning in the middle school and then putting them on track to learning a career in the high school.
Great. So you start in the elementary school, developing an interest in various vocations or introducing children to various vocations to see if they have an interest or at least to expand their minds to think about it.
That's correct. Sometimes that's just exposing them to different vocations. Other times that's through classes like robotics classes and other things that are integrated into their regular curriculum.
So you're starting some robotics classes in the elementary schools.
We do have some. Yes.
I'll be. That's a great opportunity. I'm sure we'll have some budding scientists and roboticists coming from your elementary schools. So then when children graduate and get into the middle school, what is it that you do to continue that interest or help them narrow their focus towards a particular vocation?
Well, that's a good question. One of the things that we've really worked hard to develop in Polk County is an academy system. And the academy system it's more than just a vocational class. It's a philosophy and it's an idea on learning a vocation that's not only just learning a job, but sort of a career and a vocation, something that is going to take them either directly into the workplace or perhaps into college to continue to learn about that vocation. The academy system integrates the vocation within not only the vocational curriculum, but within the academic curriculum. It also invites public involvement by having a mandatory advisory board that would include parents, school administrators, and people actually working out in the field, the community members who are actually doing that area of vocation and getting them involved in how we educate our students, making sure that we're preparing our students for work in their actual job.
So are these volunteers then, are they involved in the actual curriculum development or in evaluation of the curriculum that's being presented?
That is correct. They can help us evaluate the curriculum that's being presented. They're such a valuable tool. The advisory board can help us also when we need a teacher in a very specific area. Oh. They can help us connect with experts in the field who are interested in teaching and bring them in and actually either make them a full-time teacher or make them a person who comes in and does a lesson on a very specific area.
Like a guest lecturer, special guest.
I think one of the best examples of our academies, and perhaps probably the crown jewel of the academy system here in Polk County, is the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, which is located right here at the Sun and Fun.
Indeed, we're almost in the shadow of that three-story building right next to the Aerospace Discovery Museum, where we are present at this time. This academy, Central Florida Aerospace Academy, has been ongoing for a number of years now, Steve?
Over 10.
Over 10.
Yeah.
And were you instrumental in getting it started, or part of the
I wish I could claim a tiny bit of responsibility for that, but no. Our former Senior Director for Workforce Education, who later became a Deputy Superintendent, John Small, had a vision of building a school on, pardon me.
Bless you.
Had a vision of building a school on a airport facility and creating a curriculum that would educate students not just in flying, but in all aspects of the aerospace industry. Excuse me. Thank you.
But get you a glass of water here in a moment.
Thank you.
So
that was his vision, Mr. Small. Mm-hmm. And originally he was told he couldn't do it.
Ah.
He said he was told that was an impossibility, too much liability, too many restrictions.
And that was ignition for him, I'll bet, wasn't it?
It was.
Good.
He actually drove up to Tallahassee and spoke with responsible parties there, found out that it was possible to build a school on an airport facility, and the rest is history. So wow. It was his vision, and I should say there were other people in the school system certainly as responsible in the help of its creation, but the people here at Sun and Fun, thank you very much. The people here at Sun and Fun are also just as responsible, because it would not happen if they did not see his vision and also agree that this would be a great place to get students involved in the aerospace industry.
Well, that's great. And to give just a bit more perspective to it, as I mentioned, here at the Aerospace Discovery Center and the museum at the Sun and Fun campus, we are actually in the shadow of the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, a three-story building that houses the high school that Steve was just speaking about. And it is located on the airport property, so it is a rather unusual and unique situation where you have a public school located on an airport property, and then of course focusing on aviation aspects, all aviation aspects, not just piloting, but maintenance and avionics and business and the like. So this is
all aspects.
All aspects at the high school level. It's a wonderful opportunity for kids in Polk County do they have to apply to get into this academy, Steve, or is it just...
They do. The academy system is a system of choice. So students can apply once a year, and then upon acceptance, they'll start in the 9th grade. Now, any student can apply, but once they're here, they need to maintain a good GPA and good behavior to be here at CFAA.
Okay, makes sense for them to be a responsible young citizen to maintain a grade point average of what, Steve?
Above a 2.0.
Above 2.0, okay. and then be good citizens. And I would imagine if these students apply for and get accepted to this academy, they would then be very much interested in producing and becoming well-educated and a good, responsible citizen. I imagine you're building that into the curriculum as well.
Oh yeah. There's also a Air Force JRTC element, which is, it's not a requirement, but many of the students at CFAA participate in it.
Okay. And if I may ask, the students in the high school here, the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, how many students in this particular high school?
Over 400.
Over 400. And what's the mix of male and female?
It does have a majority of male students, although that number has started to turn. The male students make up approximately 55%, and the female students the other percent.
So 55-45. It's even better than I would have anticipated, but that's great. So with the so-called shortage of pilots that we've been hearing a lot about in the last few years, do you see a resurgence or a big increase in the number of applicants that want to get into the Central Florida Aerospace Academy?
We do. The applications have increased each year. And I would be neglect not to mention, when I talk about the creation of the Academy, aside from John Small and the fine organization of the Sun and Fun, we had a great benefactor, James C. Ray, who blessed us with monetary backing and left a legacy fund which pays for students throughout Polk County who are interested in becoming pilots. It pays for them to get their pilot's license.
Yes, we've heard about that from other guest speakers here as well. And so let me just have you review again through the Ray Foundation, which is the benefactor for this wonderful number of scholarships. They offer, is it 3 scholarships a month to students, I believe?
3 scholarships a month for pilot's license.
3 scholarships a month, and the amount that they're offered is almost enough to bring a young person from not flying at all up through private pilot's license if they utilize the funds appropriately and sparingly. So this is great, and that's like 3 young people a month. I think Rochelle told me earlier this week that you have like 91 students who have graduated through private pilots.
Every student that graduates gets a brick in front of the pavement at CFAA. So we have a little ceremony. It's very nice. Recognize their accomplishments.
And when they become a private pilot?
That's great, when they have their pilot's license.
Very good. And I walked across those bricks even this morning again and saw the names, and with great pride, and I'm sure you share that pride as well, that you've turned out new aviators and really making a dent in that so-called pilot shortage that we hear so much about.
And I should say the applications for CFAA are growing. We also have a wonderful avionics program at our vocational school, Travis Technical College, which is as avionics programs going, not only is the instruction excellent, but it's also one of the most affordable options for anybody interested in that field.
Great. So that's an interaction with the Travis Technical College, and these are high school students that get college credit for studying avionics at Travis College then, or am I?
They will get a vocational certification in avionics.
I see.
And sometimes, and that's one of the things about CFAA. Some of the students in CFAA will go on to, we've had students go on to the Air Force Academy. Some will go on to careers to being pilots. Others will go to State College and continue their career in avionics. And some will go on to Travis Technical College and start working sooner or right away.
I see. And whatever their chosen vocation may be.
That's
so
correct.
This is a great launching pad then for young people to focus their education in aviation or some aviation-related part of the industry, and then go on to continue their education at the college level or into a vocational job opportunity then. So that's great. That's great. Do you do anything in the Polk County Public School District for workforce education for adults?
Oh, that would be Travis Technical College.
That would be the Travis Technical College. Part of the school district, or?
It is part of the school district.
Okay, I didn't understand that. That's good to know. That's good to know. And so how many students in the Travis Technical College?
Entirely, over 1,000.
Over 1,000?
Yeah.
Multiple campuses or just one?
They have, for certain programs, they'll actually do some of the avionics programs here and some of back at the school. But there are smaller satellite campuses, I should say, that focus on specific areas of instruction, not necessarily a campus that offers everything to everyone. For
instance, these special campuses would be like?
For instance, our avionics program spends a lot of time over here.
Here
at Sun and Fun, and actually has a satellite class located in this facility.
Oh, in the facility. Very good. Well, that's good. So we're right here among us. That's great. So you said Mr. Small was the one with the first idea about the Central Florida Aviation Academy. How did his idea play with the school board when he first introduced it? Was it readily accepted, or was there some opportunity to grow the idea there as well?
I would say, aside from the idea being very novel, and I don't want to say that there were people saying or anyone directly against it, but there were people that had their doubts that the program could get off the ground or even exist. So,
pragmatists, maybe, huh?
Yeah. Well, when you have a vision, you got to get people along with your vision. And
okay.
So that's what he did. So I should say, if there was any sort of conflict or pushback, it didn't last very long.
Okay, well that's good. Actually, sometimes I believe in innovative environments. If you have someone that comes up with a new and good idea, it's probably good to have some people that are a bit skeptic at first, because that they help you refine the good idea to make it an even better idea. And so I'm sure that worked well for Mr. Small and all of the folks that had the vision and carried through.
And now his vision is not just here in Polk County, but we're actually having visitors come in from all across the nation. We've had people come in from Portland. We just had a visit from a agency called the National Career Academy Coalition, and they brought in people from 7 to 8 states who spent a day out here at this program to learn about how it functions, how it works, and how maybe they can emulate it back in their school district.
Very good. One other thing I was going to ask, so the curriculum that you've developed here, I know the AOPA, Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, and their You Can Fly program is developing high school aviation curriculum. Have they looked to anything that you've done for a model for their high school curriculum development that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of, okay. But I imagine they've at least had a careful eye on what you've done here, because it's nothing like building on success, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So that's great. Well, they're purporting that throughout the U.S. as well. But you've had a number of people, you said, that have come here and looked to you for, this is the model that we may want to replicate at other places. What higher praise can you get than that?
None. And we're very proud of this program. We're very proud of the educators that we have and of the students, because again, they come here. It's a choice program. These are kids that are enthused about aviation, and we want to grow that enthusiasm.
Indeed, I'm sure you're stoking it. No doubt.
And I want to say this. I think that the Sun and Fun is kind of it actually comes closer to the end of the school year. This is kind of the pinnacle of the school year. We actually shut down school, and all of the students are out here participating, working, helping, engaging with the pilots, being part of the colloquiums that are offered here. So, we take full advantage of this Sun and Fun experience for our students.
As do we at the Florida Aviation Network, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some of our volunteers at the Florida Aviation Network are working for us here even as we speak. 2 of our cameramen this morning, our Academy residents and several of the people elsewhere on the support staff are also part of the Central Florida Aviation Academy, and we certainly appreciate their support to this broadcast. Well, we got a couple minutes left, Steve. I remember when we were talking a few minutes ago, you mentioned about a very special person in your life who was an inspiration to you. Was it your uncle?
Yeah. Every time that I come out here to the Sun and Fun, I think of my uncle, Willis Webb, who was a pilot in the 8th Army Air Force. He flew out of Italy in World War II. He was actually shot down and landed on an island off of the former Yugoslavia, where he was repatriated to the United States Air Force by Serbian freedom fighters that were on that island. And he took me on my first air flight, my first ever, when I was 7. He was a collector of warbirds, and the first airplane I ever rode in was a World War II observation plane. We talked about it. You think you know what it was?
I think it was probably an L-19 Bird Dog, as they would have been known back in the Army Air Corps days. So anyway, high wing, 2 persons in the cockpit, tandem seating. Yeah, I think that's probably it. So that was your introduction to aviation. And did you continue on in aviation?
Well, it left an impact on me of service, and that was one thing that he always did. So I didn't join the Air Force, but I joined the Army and had a long career in the Army. But you know, it certainly had an impact on my life, and I was very proud of him and his service, and I'm proud to say that my first airplane flight was with him.
With Uncle Willis, the inspiration to you. And that led to, I think you said, a 24-year career in the Army as an active duty officer and as a reservist, and you've recently retired from that?
I did. I retired about 3 years ago.
Very good. So. And your role was what, as a multi-purpose?
Military police.
Military police.
You know, and I never heard the story because, like most World War II veterans, he never talked about his service much, but I didn't hear about the connection with Bosnia and about him being shot down until I went and served in Bosnia in the former Yugoslavia. So
you were deployed to Bosnia?
I was, and he shared that story with me.
Wow, I bet that made it even more meaningful.
It did.
So, Steve, our time to visit today has come to an end. It's been incredibly interesting to learn about you and your career, and particularly about your role in the Polk County School District as Senior Director of Workforce Development. And also we learned a lot about the Central Florida Aviation Academy and how it came to be, and what all that you're doing great things for young people there, graduating them and moving them on into furthering their career in aviation. This has been a wonderful interview. There's more to come, as I mentioned earlier. My name is Ron Timmermans. I'm one of the hosts of the Florida Aviation Network. We're pleased to have you visit us today and join us with the 45th Sun and Fun International Fly-In and Expo. And we'll look forward to you on the next broadcast. Thank you for joining us.